We turn now to a car rally held today from Rancho Cordova to Davis, where Iranians took to the street advocating for freedom in Iran. It comes as millions of people around the world are celebrating Nowruz, the Persian New Year that marks the first day of spring. But this year feels different for many Iranians. So to help explain, I'm joined live by a community organizer and activist, Sahar Simatalat with Gina, Sacramento. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Nazi, for having me, and thank you for ABC News for inviting us today.
Of course, and you invited us to this rally. I believe we have some footage of it. So tell me about what this movement was today.
Today, we just wanted to raise awareness with everyone to just show that we support the military intervention with the United States getting involved and Israel getting involved, and wanted to just raise awareness about that we Iranians in the diaspora and Iranians in Iran do support this movement, because we're dealing with a repressive regime, and there are many uprisings. We've tried to do things, but it hasn't happened. So this is the last option. Nobody wants war, but this is kind of where we are at, and we feel like this is the only way that not only Iran can be free of all of this tyranny, but also the world will be a safer place without the Islamic Republic in power.
And that's a really interesting, to your point, to make that distinction, that this is not about politics for you, right? This is
Correct.
About, you mentioned we don't want war. Nobody wants war.
Correct.
We want freedom for Iran, and that impacts people here at home, which is where you live.
Right.
And there's a huge Iranian community here as well.
Right.
Speak to that point about the larger impact to the global impact of this. Why does it matter for everybody else?
At the same time, what's important to know is that right now the internet's cut off in Iran for weeks now. So we are the only people can be the voice of the Iranians that are inside of Iran. So it is our responsibility to be able to raise that awareness, to be able to show people that this is happening in Iran. People are getting killed for wanting the freedom that they want. And it is very important that we just know that that this is not just our war, this is America's war too. A regime that always chants death to America, death to Israel, is a regime that's, if they do this to their own people, can you imagine what they're going to do to the outside world? They are pretty much the head of the snake that fund all of the proxy wars in the world, all the terror, all the Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. If they are kind of the main head, and if they're taken away from this world, the entire Middle East and all of us will be safer.
Well, it's kind of frightening to think of your government can just shut down your internet and access to the outside world, and this is the people that are supposed to protect you.
Correct. The regime forces did that on January 8th and 9th, where they just killed 40,000 people, 40,000 innocent protesters for just going to the streets, demanding just basic human rights and wanting freedom. And when those people are unarmed citizens, so when they go there and they just, they do the way they kill these people, it is completely wrong. This is an issue where if they can do this to their own people, they can do harm to the rest of the world, and they don't want to, and they do have the capability to have nuclear weapons, so we do nuclear capability, so they don't want that either. So the United States getting involved is something that we've always wanted, that military intervention, because the Iranian people have tried to do it on their own, and it just has never happened.
So let's talk about the timing right now, because it is Persian New Year,
right,
and this is weighing heavy on all Iranians at this time. What does Persian New Year represent, and how are people grappling with trying to celebrate this holiday, but also knowing the pain and suffering that their loved ones are enduring?
This is probably the hardest year to celebrate Persian New Year, just because so many people can't even get a hold of their loved ones. They can't even wish them a Happy New Year and just see how they're doing. Are they safe? Are they okay? It feels very heavy this year, but because it is a 3,000-year-old tradition, and the Islamic Republic always wanted to undermine this culture and this celebration, and never wanted to celebrate it. It was more important for us this year to make sure that Nowruz is celebrated, and that people know that that we are just hoping for a free Iran. But at the same time, it doesn't feel the same. The celebrations aren't happening right now. People are upset. People are hurting because they can't get a hold of their loved ones. But Persian New Year represents a rebirth and a new day. New Year. Persian New Year stands for Nowruz stands for new day. So this is a leaving away the winter and the darkness and coming into the spring for a rebirth of a new year.
Interesting and ironic, the meaning and the time that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to read one last thing as we wrap this up. The official site of Reza Pahlavi, who's leading this regime change, fighting this fight for the Iranian people, says Iran is not the Islamic Republic. Iran's civilian infrastructure belongs to the Iranian people and to the future of a free Iran. The Islamic Republic's infrastructure is the machinery of repression and terror used to keep that future from becoming reality. Iran must be protected. The regime must be dismantled. Is that in line with what you believe? Absolutely.
And Prince Reza Pahlavi has been chosen as, people in the streets of Iran have chanted his name for him wanting to be the transitional leader to get this, you know, from this time this regime is ending, for to help them, you know, get to where they want to be at the next steps. But what he's saying is absolutely correct. We don't want this regime to just wrap it up and for him to help us to get to the free democratic elections and people finally choose their leader at the end.
Well, thank you so much for being here to explain this, you know, in the best way that you can for the community, and they can follow your Instagram page for more events that are happening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.